I just want to start by continued thoughts and prayers with Andy Hipkins' family. Just such a huge loss to Indiana University and meant so much to so many people. Don't know if I've ever met a more selfless individual, kind, compassionate, just awesome in every way. And heart breaks for his wife Angie and their family, and continued support for them, and that will never stop. And he will always be remembered here for all that he gave to his university. I know he viewed it that way, and he's really, really special. So just really want to make sure we don't ever forget him. Also, update, Michael Penix had an x-ray and an MRI on his non-throwing hand, and so both came back good, so he should be fine physically from that. But still continue to be disappointed, not discouraged, but disappointed in the way that we did not finish the game on Saturday. Did a lot of good things, but did not finish, and made enough mistakes. And we talk about protecting the football at a high level, and we've not done that in the two games that we've lost. And created a couple takeaways, but if you count the non-converted 4th and 1, you were -3 really situationally in the ball placement in those situations, and being inside the 10-yard line 3 times and having 0 points, it's not how you beat a top 10 team. So, but obviously saw glimpses of what we can become and what we need to be and what I know we can be, and just got to be consistent. And that's what's going to be the focus this week and moving forward with our guys. And had some good discussions yesterday, very open, honest discussions like we always do on Sundays, and taking responsibility for where we're at. And we know where we are, we know where we want to be. So just continuing to move through that. I do have guys I want to always recognize, our scouts of the week. I don't think I did a good job of that last week. I forgot to get those guys, and I want to make sure I do that because they work so hard. They've earned the right to have their names read and all that they do for our program behind the scenes. And on defense, our scouts of the week are Matt Holt and Andrew Turvey, and 2 in-state guys. And I'm just really proud of their effort each week, and they're doing a great job getting us ready. And then the offensive scout team players of the week, Connor Delp and Ricky Tamus. And then our special team scout of the week was Maurice Freeman. And all those guys are young guys that have come here, and we think all those guys have a really bright future in our program. So appreciate their work this week, and excited now to head down to Western Kentucky. Have not played down there for a while, but have played there in the past, and it's going to be a good environment. They'll have a great crowd there on being a night game. And very, very good football team. Number 1 passing offense in the country right now. Number 1 in third downs as well. And those two kind of go together. They throw the ball as well as anybody in this country right now. And so very talented quarterback, receiver core, new offensive coordinator, and very athletic on defense. So we played them twice in my coaching career. And both times, really, really good football teams. A lot of athletes on that side of the ball, both sides of the ball, and have always had really, really talented, skilled guys. So I think their offensive line is really big and really impressive for a group of 5 offensive linemen, one of the better ones we've seen. So definitely a very important game for us, that we continue to get better and that we improve and that we move towards where I know we can be. Questions?
You obviously mentioned Mike, just to start with him, after you had a chance to see it on a rewatch, there's obviously seemed to be some good moments and obviously some rough ones. I guess when you had a chance to kind of sit back and reevaluate, just sort of where did he grade out and what was your kind of sort of full thought about his performance?
Yeah, I think it's like anything else. You have to always go back and evaluate. Like I said, we would and we did. And you said it. I mean, he made some really good plays, made some really good throws that not many guys can make. But the mistakes were costly, and it's about protecting the football. And he knows it. And what I saw, what I really felt like I saw, and we have had several discussions as a staff, was just, I think, pressing in those moments, just trying to do too much. And, end of the half there, just take a sack. you know. I mean, it's 30 seconds to go in the half, and, you know, we're up 14-7, and obviously they got momentum with that touchdown that they got late, and you don't want to give them any more momentum. You know, we got that first down, and we got a catch, and you move a little bit, so just don't make that throw, you know, and don't have to. Don't do it. We're on the inside the 10-yard line. It's third down. You know, we were in field goal range. You got a chance to get points. You know, just, yeah, I don't have a problem with us, you know, trying to score. But if it's not there, don't put the ball in jeopardy. You know, just make a better decision. So, and there's multiple factors. You go through look to film. We had several drops, which were uncharacteristic for some of those guys, but they dropped it. They did not catch the football well as a group. I thought our protection still wasn't good enough completely across the board. That's O-line, running backs, tight ends. And those are variables that go into those, you know, he was under too much duress, in my opinion. So, but I didn't feel like it was, you know, worried about anything other than just trying to do too much, and you just can't in that situation. There's times where he's made big throws in the past under duress, and even in this game, he took one of the biggest shots of the game was when the big third down throw to DJ Matthews across the middle, which was a huge play, great throw. He got hit really, really hard, and you know, dove and ran and got a key first down and ran out of bounds and got hit as he's going out of bounds. Another key situation where so he's showing growth and progress in that, confidence in his knee. So to me, it was just better decision making. Got to take care of the football. You know, you turn the ball over that many times against a top 10 team, you're not going to win. And that's the thing. We still had the ball with 5 minutes to go in the game, down by 6. We're obviously on the 2-yard line, fumbled the football. You know, just didn't finish. You know, you can call it what you want. I mean, it's you want to beat a team like that, and we did some good things, but we didn't finish. And so he's part of that. He's got to finish as well, and that's going to be the focus. Is consistent performance. Next.
Yeah, Tom, you said you were going to review the targeting penalty after the game on Saturday. What did you see, and did you hear anything from the league or the officials on that?
I did review it, and I totally disagree with the call. And so it's unfortunate. And, you know, yes, we've turned it in and still in the process of going through that evaluation. But, yeah, don't agree with the call at all. And so, but at the same time, you know, we had other opportunities, you know, and a guy like that goes down and you lose him, somebody's got to step up and make a play. And he's obviously a huge part of our defense and does a phenomenal job, makes plays, creates a ton of pressure, and it hurt us not having him without question, but other guys got to step up and as a whole defense, and we had other opportunities to still finish the game.
Quick follow, what did you disagree about?
It wasn't targeting. Yeah, so just, I mean, there's just, you can go through and evaluate it, and yeah, so it's just not, you know, I got my ability to make judgments as well. I've coached this game for a long, long time, so yeah.
Forgive me. If the premise of this question, if you disagree with it, then just tell me you think I'm stupid. But do you see any kind of, I guess, physical difference in Mike in terms of maybe there's just things that maybe he can't do as well as he could before the most recent injury, and maybe he's almost kind of struggling to kind of find his current level, his current baseline compared to his old baseline? Or do you think it's, again, maybe more just, I don't want to say in his head, but more just kind of the intangible qualities of getting comfortable again, I guess?
Yeah, I do think it's getting comfortable, you know, because you go through, and like you said, and this is where we have honest evaluations ourselves. We go through, and, you know, I couldn't have answered this question, you know, right after the game because I hadn't had a chance to watch all the plays and see and watch them over and over again and really evaluate and just see how he's moving around, doing things. And so to me, I felt like there was a lot of times where he looked more like himself, you know, than he did even the first 2 games for sure. And but then when you have those moments and you go through the mistakes, you know, and the interceptions is really basically what we're talking about. And so, but I think there's no question. I mean, when you haven't gotten off to the start that you wanted to get off to as a player, you know, that affects your confidence a little bit. I don't think that, you know, because just feeling comfortable in the pocket and all these things. He definitely feels more comfortable with his knee. I think there's no question about that. You take hits, you get up, you run, you get tackled, you do this, and you feel better about it as you go through. But I think there's no question. I mean, it's, you know, they're hard to come back from. I get it. And you've been thrust into 2 pretty high-level games early on. And so, but no, I mean, there's no question in my mind that, you know, Michael's a great player, and he believes in himself, and we believe in him, and we just, we're 1-2. And when you're 1-2, people ask a lot of questions, and deservedly so. You got to perform. And there was high expectations for this team, and to me that those haven't changed. I have a lot of high expectations for this football team and how good we can be, but we got to prove it. We got to do it on game day, and it doesn't matter what I think, and that's why we just got to keep getting better. But I do feel like that there was growth and progress, but obviously the mistakes were costly, and they, you do not. We won the explosive play ratio. We created more explosive plays than them by quite a bit, but we lost the turnover ratio, and so you cannot turn the football over. If you do, you better get a whole lot more takeaways than you give it up, and we did not. And so we have to protect the football. We can't fumble the ball on the 2-yard line. We can't give up those interceptions. We got to do a better job of that. So, but I do think to answer your question, it's every week you just keep getting better, and it's about what we do every single day, and we're going to continue to stay the course. It's about grit, it's perseverance, and passion towards a long-term goal. That's what you got to do. Stay the course.
Hey, Tom, we didn't get a chance to ask you about the kickoff return, the 99-yarder. What happened there? And I also want to ask you, we didn't see a lot of James Miller after Micah went out. Was he available, or was it, or not?
Yeah, so the kickoff return, just devastating play, to be honest with you. Just got momentum, big scoring drive, and really take the lead. And, had, our backside safety was out of position and got nosy, got too aggressive. And he's the cutback player. He's the half field safety on that side of the field. And so even if it, you don't want it to get to him, but even if it does, he should be right there to make the play. And he was not. And that's really was the reason why it was a touchdown. I had a couple guys that were supposed to, when you have your lane, they got out of their lanes, and the two guys next to each other didn't do a good job of playing with technique. We're going to make some personnel changes with that group, and unfortunately, we had a lot of twos in the game at the time, twos on the kickoff cover unit, and just due to guys getting lots of reps, and a lot of our starters on defense are on the first group, and so felt like we had probably too many of those in one setting, looking back at it, evaluating it. But still, those guys got to make plays. They're twos for a reason. They got to be able to, they're just one snap away from being a one. So better execution's correct. The kick wasn't the issue. Actually, the opening kickoff was a worse kick. It's not where we want it to be, and the coverage was excellent. And they only had 2 returns where they brought them out. That was one of them. So, but yeah, that was a huge mistake on our part, and cost us big time.
Tom, Saturday night after you had mentioned just how well you were dominating completely on defense early. Now that you've had a chance to watch the film, what stood out at you as to what happened afterwards in regards to what went wrong with the nearly 300 yards they had after that?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they were struggling. We were making it really difficult. They couldn't run the football. They were struggling on third downs. It was very lopsided. They'd gotten 1 first down up to that point with 4 minutes to go in the half. That's a lot. We'd played several snaps already, and I don't, you don't want to. It was almost kind of like, there was a little bit of a emotional, blow with losing Micah. I don't want to see it be to that extreme, because he's just one player. But it definitely affected us, and we got to work on that. We cannot be where, hey, he's not out there, and he obviously does a great job for us, and he's very disruptive, and he's a great player, and he's, heart and soul of your defense. I get that. But at the same time, other guys got to step up, and I just feel like we didn't get any. We got no more takeaways after that point. We needed one more, really, to kind of be the defining opportunity to win the game. And just didn't see guys playing with the same, I wouldn't say, and we still played hard. That's why I want to go say and go. They played hard, but I think you just got to have, guys got to get off blocks better and make up for the impact that he makes, the plays that he makes. We miss that, and it just shows you how the fine line it is, a guy here and a guy there making a play, creating a third and long. They struggled against, even beyond that, they struggled on third downs the whole day, even when he was out. But to create more third and longs, because that's the ones where they really were struggling, and didn't obviously change the calls that we were making, but just getting off blocks better and being more more dynamic in space, which is where they play the game a lot. I mean, obviously they're going to make adjustments too, but I think it gave them a huge boost going into halftime, getting those 10 points, and kind of changed the whole trajectory of the game. So there's no doubt after that call, the game changed. You can say what you want, but the game changed. And so that's what just makes it that much more unfortunate, So, but at the same time, we can't let that happen. We can't let one guy and that become, other guys got to rise up. So we talked to our team yesterday about guys got to step up. Other guys got to step up and fill the void when a guy like that goes out. But yeah, it was definitely, it was different after that.
Coach, understanding the reason for the rule, the targeting call, but should coaches or whomever goes in to make the rules, is that rule just not too severe of a punishment for a player, especially something that's probably can be seen as inadvertent, where it end up costs a team or changes the outcome of a game on one inadvertent play? Yeah,
there's no question. I mean, I'm all about player safety, so that's, to me, is totally the focus, and it should be. But to get more specific about it, there's no question. And I think a lot of us coaches, we talk about this a lot. I mean, there's a lot of agreement that the rule right now needs to be evaluated. I mean, the ejection for something like that is not what it needs to be, So if they want to do targeting 1, targeting 2, and whether it's flagrant, just kind of like the basketball flagrant foul thing, I think that definitely needs to be, just me giving my 2 cents here, I think that's what needs to be done. It needs to be done soon. Because you can watch multiple games, not just our game, where that keeps happening, and it's just not the way it should be. A kid to get ejected from a game for something like that, it's a judgment, because I haven't called on the field. I mean, I didn't even know. I was just kind of like, I was totally just caught off, like, what are they reviewing? I just, no idea. And it was just like, so gets called from the booth, and that's the kind of, so the bottom line is, yes, they need to evaluate the way it is implemented in regards to the ejection piece. And I don't think it's fair to the kids, it's not fair to the teams to have a guy ejected for something like that. If they want to, by the level of law, fair, I mean, just whatever they decide to do. But I think that will be looked at, I'm assuming. Common sense would say it should be, and I hope that that's the case, so.
Saturday's loss wasn't as much about a talent deficit as it was self-inflicted mistakes. Does that make a loss like this more frustrating than it would have been a couple of years ago, or are you encouraged that your program's at the point where it's about polishing yourself as opposed to just not having the horses?
Well, I mean, it's still a loss, so it stinks. It hurts. You hate it. So I don't know if it makes it feel different. There's no question that we, can't make mistakes, but you know what? They made plays, so that's what you got to do. You got to make plays, and we got to protect the football, and they're trying to take it from us. That's the objective of the game. And so, but yeah, it definitely feels different in some ways, but at the same time, it still hurts just as much. I believe in this team, and I know we have a chance to do some really special things if we just continue to get better and eliminate the mistakes, and that to me is the focus. And, like I said, we're disappointed, but we're not discouraged. This team's got a ton of character and toughness and grit and fight to it. And yeah, we're 1-2. It's not where any of us wanted to be. So what are you going to do? Feel sorry for yourself? Because I guarantee nobody else is. So we're going to blow up. We're going to fight. I promise you that.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well. Has Michael shown any sort of wavering in confidence, and how have you worked with him to make sure he sticks to his game plan and what he does best?
Yeah, I just think that, like I think I mentioned that a few minutes ago, man. I think there's any time you don't play at your certain level, I mean, it's not, you don't go feel better because of it. It's going to affect you in some ways, but at the core it cannot, and I think at the core it has not. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt you got to work through that. And if you just kind of think through just even him as a player, so this is probably the most adversity he's faced, in terms of on the field and coming back and playing again. He's had those season-ending injuries, but then you're done playing, and so now you got to learn to work through it. And so if you go back and look, and he threw 1 interception his whole senior year of high school, and so that's not been something that he's had an issue with. And so you just got to go through, and yeah, you got to, it takes a lot to, be put out there in these positions, and you have expectations, and then those aren't met, and then you have to stand up and give account, and that's it's not easy to do, but it's part of growing up, and it's part of, as I always tell the quarterbacks, and I share them with this when I recruit them, and we talk about it, the head coach and the quarterback. they get too much of the credit when things go good, and they get too much of the blame when things go bad. But you know what? That's part of it. That's reality, being in that position. And that's what you got to accept when you become in that role. And I'm no different. So I got to stand here and give account, and so does he. And so that's the reality of playing quarterback, and that's what you got to do. And so you got to be, confident in who you are, and you cannot let circumstances and things around you cause that to waver. And that's what we're going to be the challenge to him. But once again, we're just teaching him and growing with him and helping him through this, because he's still growing and maturing too.
You mentioned Saturday that Stephen was a little bit dinged up towards the end. Can you give any update on his status, if that's anything serious? And also, how was Monster's progress? How close was he to being available on Saturday?
Yeah, so Monster's progressing well. We expect him to play this week. And matter of fact, he practiced with us last night, which is great. And I expect him to be fully back, ready to go, which would be great for our secondary. And Steven's fine. Definitely, a certain number of reps you have and different things throughout the game. But he's going to be full bore for this week as well.
Coach, you talked earlier before the season started just about Ty Freyfogel coming back and his decision to come back, but he's kind of been a non-factor early in the season here, especially against Cincinnati. He had the one catch for the 13 yards. What's been lacking from his game?
Yeah, going back, and obviously you saw it while it was going on, but he had multiple drops, in that game, which is not him. I don't know. He's never had a game like that since he's been here, and we talked to him and sat him down, and because he's really practiced awesome. I told you that. He's had a great mindset, and so really kind of caught me off guard. I get it. Everybody's kind of keying on him. They're going to double cover him and make sure they do that, and I get that, and I understand why they would. Then DJ made a bunch of plays, which I expect him to do, and that's great, and that's what we have to have. But yeah, he just needs to make those plays. There's several catches that would have been a difference in the game. He knows that, and so to me, and he's a very confident guy. But we sat down, we talked it through, and he doesn't need to press. Just go play ball, And I think that's when you come back and people expect certain things. You just got to learn to relax and just let the game come to you. But you got to make plays, and that's what he's done since he's been here. That's why he's in the position he's in right now, and why people are talking about him and the accolades he received after last year. Why? Because he made those catches that he did not make on Saturday. So I know he can. I know he will. He practices well. He practices hard, and to me that just was that was a hiccup for him, because that's not him, and it's not like he's had an issue with this in the past. He's had to overcome it. It's been one of his strengths is going and getting the ball. So I don't expect that to be anything moving forward, but he just needs to rise up and relax and just be Ty Freyfogel.
Yeah, Coach, you talked about Mike not wavering in his confidence. How about your confidence in him and the team's confidence? You're not wavering in him, are you, or is he still your quarterback?
Absolutely not. Michael Penix is our starting quarterback, and I believe in him with 100% of my heart, and know that our team feels the same way. And we're going through this together. And that, to me, if you falter in times of trouble, how little is your strength? That's a phrase, a proverb that I believe in, and I think it's all the more true right now than ever. You just got to stay together, and you got to be strong, you got to be tough, and you got to believe in who you are. But you got to keep watching the film and addressing things honestly and openly, and working hard every day to fix them, and that's the key.
For quarterbacks who are struggling at times, the tight end is always a bit of that safety net, and Peyton had a great game Saturday, 6 catches, and had some nice runs after the catch too. It seems like he's someone that can be relied on a lot. Do you see him and even the other tight ends in that room maybe even being more involved than they've been so far?
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point. Matter of fact, as we go through and talk about certain areas that didn't perform like they have in the past, that was one that was really, really strong. Peyton had a great day. Not surprised whatsoever. He's transformed his body. His work ethic. I think I mentioned this before. Our strength staff said they'd never had a young man have a better 8-month period than he has in the offseason, and he's worked extremely hard to get better, and he looks faster, and he's in great shape, and he's worked hard on improving his blocking. And the whole room, A.J. Barner, Matt Bjornson, all those three guys are our top three right now, and love that room. They're guys that we can count on. We trust them. A.J.'s still growing and developing for sure, but they've both shown they can make plays. And yeah, I agree with you. I think the tight end is a huge part of our offense. I want it to be. I'm not bashful about telling our guys that. I know what that does to a defense and how that affects the run support. All the guys that have to account for those guys are supposed to be making tackles in the run game, and the play action off of that can be huge. And Peyton is a weapon with the ball in his hand, and he's big and physical and can get the ball in the end zone. So yes, and that's really the challenge to our whole offense. Hey, we have weapons. We have a lot of good players. Just let the system, work itself and utilize those weapons and let those guys, as the defenses are giving us those guys more and more each week, then take advantage of them. And so we have the guys there, and we showed it on Saturday as well. We just got to don't give the ball away. That's really the bottom line. All right, have an awesome day, Elio.